Thanks for serving on the council. On the 2-cent increase, property taxes on $300,000 house, that's about $60 a year. And I think that Pat Yankee's point about what do you do at the windfall might be something to think about. Is there some way to sort of wall off part of that? I understand this tax increase applies not only to residential property but also to commercial property. So if you're going to cut the tax rate for residential property, you're also doing it to the commercial property as well. And if you think about, if the average house is between $300,000, $200,000 or so, or $500,000, $60 over the course of the year is a benefit that you get. But the people who really get a benefit from reducing this rate are not residential tax property owners, but actually the big property owners like PG Plaza. And I think when we were thinking about this, you want to think about what is actually affecting the residential people in the city versus the commercial property holders. So one way to partially wall off some of this money would be, and also to deal with the fact that people facing residential property tax increases are feeling under a little stress this year, would be to perhaps do a rebate of the amount that goes to the residential property owners. So that way you're able to, as a council, show that you recognize that people are feeling a little stressed this year with the increase in inflation and the increase in rates. I think I know there's a lot of people that are on fixed incomes. This envelope I've got my notes on is my AARP membership kit. So I'm starting to think that way myself. I guess another thing about the idea of cutting tax revenue substantially is to look at where does that lead us as a community. One of the reasons why I moved to Hyattsville is I looked at a community that was actually reinvesting in itself. A very old community, used to have roads that were in terrible shape. People had vision in the past to start putting in the investment and make the difficult decisions to put those bonds in place to pay for improving the basic infrastructure. And one of the things that you have to do after you install it, you actually have to budget for maintaining it. So when you do these kind of incremental changes in revenue, the kind of things that you need to deal with are often these kind of maintenance kind of issues. Are you going to put these things in place and then do the maintenance work so you don't leave a legacy 30 years later of having to completely redo the streets? The other thing is that you want to have an attractive community. You want to have a city that's providing good amenities to people, because the way to really keep tax rates down is to attract people to the community that make more money than we do. If they make more money than we do, they're going to be helping to distribute the tax burden. Similarly, when you annex commercial property, that helps spread the burden out. It's not completely on the residential property owner. So there are communities like University Park that has absolutely no commercial property on it. Any kind of tax that they raise has to come completely from the homeowner. So Hyattsville is actually in good shape in terms of having a mix of the property that gets its tax rate. So I guess one other thing I'd like you guys to consider, if you end up thinking about this rebate for the residential property tax payers, is to perhaps cut back on this year's participation at the Maryland Municipal League convention. If you were able to say, just instead of sending a large group of staff and council members, try saving, say, $15,000 by just sending maybe the mayor, the city administrator, and a deputy city administrator If you could save $15,000, that would be equivalent to a rebate for 250 households. So I'll just put that in the hopper. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Anyone else wishing to address the council on the tax rate? Okay. And